How many times have people prepared a chapel speech that momentarily focused on the impact that someone had in their life? All of them. Yes, even this one. Just wait for it. That's because we ultimately decide how others' lives will pan out. Every gesture of kindness or anger, every hello in the hall or death stare at your teacher after receiving a bad grade matters. Even the little things. I really don't remember much of my first day at Appleby that well. It just seemed like a regular day when I look back on it. However, I do remember how I expected the day to go. The angry stares I would get from the returning students, the exclusion from the pool tables at the CAF, the awkward locker room confrontations, being asked if I was a new student from Africa when I was actually from Michigan. To be honest, I was expecting Appleby to be like the high school in Mean Girls. So when we were about to enter the chapel speech for the tie ceremony, and I saw all the returning students talking as a group, I thought for sure that I was going to be a loner for the next 4 years of my life. But right off the bat, I was proven wrong when Costa Perojic walked up to me and said hi. Hi. Now the conversation that followed was pretty dull, and I ended up just walking away awkwardly. But what mattered was that first word, hi. It doesn't take much to change someone's day. That's all I needed to stop seeing cliques and start seeing people. I know that it seems strange, but every time you do something for someone else, they change. It might not be evident at the time, but it does matter. Being a positive part of someone's day leaves lasting effects on the personality and their future lifestyle. My father's mother, my grandmother, was an amazing woman. Although I was never able to communicate with her due to our language barrier, my dad has always told me what an amazing person she was. Of course she is, I always thought. Because how could she have possibly raised such a successful man in such a tough place to even survive? She did so by fighting for my dad's right to a good education and a happy future. She gave up scarce money selflessly, simply for the benefit of my dad's career. She even managed to keep him on the right track when she herself was finding it hard to keep going. So you can imagine how excited I was to meet the protagonist of so many stories when I traveled to Nigeria in December of 2007. But when I met her, she spoke to me in her native language, which I barely understood. I tried to maintain a conversation, but she just laughed at my terrible pronunciation as my parents explained my evident westernization. Then the most surprising thing happened. She stopped talking to me and just smiled. It was like she knew she loved me, even though I had barely ever spoken to her. Her content attitude was amazing. Looking back, I think that she wasn't smiling at me, but because of me. Her hard work, her sacrifices, and her unending love actually meant something. Her son and his family made it because of all that she did in the past. She made a difference. It worked. The effect you have in the lives of those around you could be huge if you just put effort into it. Nothing is stopping you from reaching out and changing someone's life for the better. If you have the opportunity to positively influence someone's mood, personality, or outlook on life, then you should seize it every time. Because you would not be the person you are today without those that have influenced you in your life so far. The best part about leaving your mark in someone's life is that it lasts long after you are separated. Even though you are no longer being the positive part of their day, that does not mean that your efforts were wasted. Because anything that is worth something lasts forever. In Saskatoon, I used to volunteer every Sunday in my church's nursery. You see, there were 3 different age groups that I was able to volunteer in. There was the 4 to 11-month-olds, which is my favorite because they couldn't talk, the 1 to 2-year-olds, and the 3 to 5s. I would always go to the 4 to 11-month group because and actively avoid volunteering in the other 2. However, every so often, the other volunteers would beat me to it and fill up the 4 to 11-month and the 1 to 2-year-old groups, forcing me to go to my least favorite, the 3 to 5s. They were so annoying. I used to just sit there hoping they would leave me alone. But one day, a new volunteer came in and actually chose to be terrorized by that children. Each time I was forced into going into that group, she was there, enjoying herself happily, and so happy with where she was. I was amazed. Soon her positivity became contagious, and my view of the 3 to 5-year-olds started to change. I was nicer, friendlier, and started looking forward to going to see the kids instead of resenting it. She was a leader of character, and she made my experience as a volunteer seem less like a job and more like a hobby. However, on the first day of Sunday, March 2009, she didn't show up, and my parents told me what happened. She passed away in a car accident coming back from her February break. She was just gone. She was only 16. It was impossible for me to comprehend because it was the first time I was old enough to understand that someone I knew was gone. It was hard for me to move on. How could I go to the nursery and act the way I used to with the toddlers when she wasn't there to lead me? Even though it wasn't the same, I somehow mustered up the courage to go back to volunteer without her, remembering everything she taught me. Our power to influence others is incredible, and if you don't use it for good, you don't deserve it at all. Because if you have the ability to change lives around the world, what good reason do you have for not doing so? Before I conclude, I have this great quote from some woman named Marianne Williamson. I chose it because not only does this quote show how sophisticated I am, but it's also from two Black inspirational movies, Akilah and the Bee and Coach Carter, so it makes me look blacker than I actually am. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Take the time to be the positive part of someone's day. It doesn't take much effort to make a difference because we are all easily influenced. Be that girl that always says hello in the hallway, or that guy that always opens doors for everyone. Be the person that changes the world simply by influencing others, one by one. Because the truth is, your presence matters, and your actions, even the smallest gestures, mean something. And as we enter the last term of our last year here at Appleby, there has never been a better time to leave your mark on the school and start thinking about how you will change the world before we all go our separate ways. Now would you all please rise and convince your friends to sing hymn 460 as loud as possible.